Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? Welcome back. An old man down at the Z Grill, and you're kind of looking over here and you're going, hey Tom, what's going on with the controller there? That's right folks, we've been doing some mods to the Z Grill, and today we swapped out the controller that, it works for some, didn't work for me. So PID controller from Smoke Daddy Inc., that's what's going in here. And I tell you what, keep on watching. Remember, if I can do it, so can you. Well, you're saying to yourself, Tom, that's great for you, but I'm not an electrician. I don't know how to do this. Folks, this stuff is virtually plug and play. Let me show you. All right, so this is what I mean by plug and play. Most Pellet grill controllers are like this, that they have just plugs and they only go in one way. And just the matter is lining up the colors. Now you're saying, well, how do I know which color does what? Instruction comes with the Pellet Pro, but on the back of the box is all you really need. And it tells you what color does what. As you can see right there, the red and white is for your hot rod, your blue and white is for the auger motor, your green and white is for the fan, your RTD probe is separate, I'll show you that, and black and white is for the power cord. Now, you're saying, well, how does that match up with the Z Grill? Well, the Z Grill in the owner's manual has the same thing, and it shows you what colors does what. So it's just a matter of finding the right color plug and plugging it in, and just double checking when you're done. Now the most important thing, folks, is you do this obviously with the power off, make sure it's totally unplugged, and I tell you what, let's just open it up and take a look at it. All right, so just 2 screws to remove and put them somewhere where you won't lose them. And that's about as far as it comes out. Now, you can try and you can see there's some zip ties there you got to cut. And from this angle, it's kind of difficult to get there. Now, you can go from underneath and take off some bolts down there. And it means laying down and all that. But if you put your grill together, you remember there's only 4 bolts holding this whole hopper assembly on. And if it's clean enough in there, there'd be actually an excellent opportunity for you to clean in there. I'm actually going to take those 4 bolts off because I want to show you some other things as I'm doing that. All right, so let's take a look at another thing that I'm dealing with right now currently with Z Grill's customer service. And I've noticed, especially when this thing is full of pellets and it's empty now, but when you lift up on the handle, see that flexing? And my contention, and it was a lot worse, and it's a little bit worse when there's full of pellets, is that's going to stress something on the sidewall there eventually and maybe break. So what I've done is that I've reinforced, here, let me get a light in there, show you. I've reinforced, all I've done is I've added 4, and there's 4 bolts, so I've added 1.5 inch, 1/8 inch thick stainless steel washers to that. Just to get a little bit more reinsurance and spread out that load on that metal. I think this metal is a little bit on the thin side there. And if anything, they, like I said, I've emailed them back and forth and showed them my idea, and they say, hey, that's great. But if you're having the same issue, you might want to do the same. A cheap fix, got them from Home Depot, folks. It was like less than $2. All right, so this is why I do these videos, to show you not what to do. So I took it off, and then there's 6 screws that I take off to pop this bottom off. I thought it had to come off. And this is about as far as it comes off. There's the power cord that kind of holds it in place, and there's a connector right there that I really don't want to take off. So when I was looking in here, I noticed there were 2 zip ties. There's one of them. There's another one around here somewhere, right there. And once I cut those, that's all I used to cut it right there, carefully so I didn't hit any of the wires, then the whole thing unbundled and I was able to pull the whole thing out. So there's, in my opinion, really no need to do that. The only reason you might need to do that is just to get your hand up there to put zip ties back on. So what's really neat here is I'm pulling everything out, and you can see Z Grills has even got it marked. Here's your hot, here's your fan, here's MOT, that must be motor. And then there's another one tucked in there. And then your RTD probe, which, remember, that's the temp probe inside the grill. That's those 2 connections right there. And you just take a small screwdriver, undo those, and then they're going to go into the Smoke Daddy one right there. I'll take the Smoke Daddy one out. Like I said, if you want to replace the RTD probe, it comes with it from Smoke Daddy, and you would just then pull the whole assembly out. But since this grill is new and these things are pretty much universal, I'm just going to leave it in. And we'll keep on wiring it up here. And like I said, it's just plug and play. I'll show you how to do that. All right, so if you're getting confused along the way here, remember, you've got those diagrams that comes with the Smoke Daddy controller, and the owner's manual from the Z Grill shows you how. Do it by process of elimination. So we know that this is the RTD probe on the Z Grills, and this is the RTD probe on the Smoke Daddy. So do that one first. Take this one off, put that one on, and then we'll do what we know. And then if there's one we don't, then it's just a process of elimination. Super simple. All right, so to get the connectors apart, like I said, it's kind of a plug and play type deal, and I already kind of loosened it up, but you just wiggle it back and forth, and then to get it into the new one, you see we've got our black and white here, and it just snaps just like that. Super simple. All right, so for the fan connection, I know from looking at the box, because that's where the diagram is, that it's green and white on the Smoke Daddy, and I know just by looking at the sticker, and I can double check in the owner's manual too, that this orange is the fan. So it's just a matter of doing what I showed you before, just pulling this one out, and you gotta wiggle it a little bit, just like that. And then that's the connection right there. And then I said the green and white was the fan on the Smoke Daddy. And then we'll just put it together like that. Super simple. All right, got all the connections good. I took this little pack, I zip tied. I got to cut these off first. But you know what, I'm always curious. Before I go through all this and putting it back together, I want to make sure that it works, right? So I took the new RTD probe, plugged it in, because if you don't have that on, it'll show error on the controller. And let's just plug it in and see what happens. Okay, USA, that's a good sign. Press the on button. Stand by. Showing the temp. 67 degrees, 68. All right, I think everything's good enough to go ahead and button things up here. Press the off button. It's going to go through a 15-minute cycle, but it's okay to go ahead and unplug it. All right, success. Remember, if I can do it, so can you. Now we're going to button this back up. Now the key thing here is, let's talk about this. So I'm going to cut these tails off, and then when you put everything back together in there, you want to make sure that nothing's hitting in there. You can see there's the fan and everything. You want to make sure nothing's hitting on that. So be careful with that. And then, plug it back in once and make sure nothing's rattling in there too. All right, so the Smoke Daddy Inc. Controller is slightly smaller than the Z-Grills, meaning that the holes don't match up. So what I've done, I've taken the two screws, because they're self-tappers, that would go from the Z-Grills, and drilled into the corners. And then I'm just going to seal that up with a little black RTD silicone, just to make this thing waterproof. Adapt and overcome, folks. That's what you got to do. All right, does it work? Yes, it does. So I tell you, let's put it through its paces, just some low and slow, and then we'll go and take it up and show you all the features of this Pellet Pro PID from Smoke Daddy, folks. That was cool. All right, folks, we've been on for an hour on low smoke. Low smoke is 160 on this thing, and I haven't had any crazy like the other controller from Z-Grills. And sometimes you get down as low as 130, then it'd be up to 200. And I know why they do that, because they can dump pellets in and let it smolder and give you, smoke. But is that the right smoke? It's kind of a dirty, sooty smoke. What you want is, like, if you had a stick burner, people are always talking about the blue smoke, the very fine smoke, and that's what this controller does. It doesn't give you the crazy swings back and forth on temps. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bump it up to 225. So you see the plus thing, and then goes by. So that SO means we're on low smoke. So you can see that 5-degree increments. And we're going to go up to 225. That's the beauty of this. There's no 25, and you can hear the fan kick in. So the PID says, hey, you want 225? I got 164 here. So it'll start feeding in pellets, and the PID will control it. And we'll let this settle in and give you a look-see at 225. All right, got it at 225, and 225 is what it's saying. And it's been like this for an hour. Nothing crazy up and down. Remember, 5-degree increments, or you can just press high, which I'm going to do right now, and take it to 450. There, that's high. You got to press it. So 450 is high. and we'll give you a look-see once we're there. And there we are, 500 degrees, I guess, is what we're reading. I need to put another temp gauge on there or something, but it overshot a little bit, and now it's just going back down a little bit. But if you want to know, can I get it hot? Yeah, you saw it for yourself. 500 degrees. I was kind of shocked by that myself. Overall, folks, if you're looking for more temp control and you want a probe, remember this has got a probe port in it, so you can put it through that hole right there. Smoke Daddy Inc. is the way to go. This is not a bad pellet grill, and that controller that's on there, it's like I said, there's just for me, there's just not enough options for it. So in the land of grills, that's what we do, is we look at other options and we make things better. And that's what we did in this video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Tom Horseman at YouTube. I've enjoyed this whole series, and we're going to keep on cooking on the Z-Grills. But we're going to move on to some other things. It works great for the price. You can saw some of the updates I did. The front shelf for less than 20 bucks. Put a gasket on the lid. Reinforced the hopper assembly where it attaches to the barrel, and put the PID controller from Smoke Daddy Inc. Folks, hope you enjoyed this. Thumbs up, leave a comment, and as always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you.